campuses that we use are we use all year round, but also we use them for our summer courses, Easter courses programs that we offer to pupils around the UK and all around the world at several times throughout that year. Sedbergh School itself is entering a very, very exciting stage. In 2025, so next year, we'll be celebrating our 500th anniversary. The senior school, which is on its own 120-acre campus, has been going for 499 years. And we are, though, one of only a few remaining full boarding schools left in the UK. And when I mean full boarding, 99% of our children of the 600 are there 7 days a week, 99%. So a huge number of boarders, and only 13% of our boarding community is international. So all of our pupils are really benefiting from a traditional British boarding school experience. What we also do here, which is very, very unique within our boarding house community, which is very important from a pastoral point of view, is we have an outstanding pastoral team that look after the children all year round and throughout the courses. And we provide an in-house dining experience, which is very, very unusual to find in boarding schools now in the United Kingdom. But basically, this means that within their boarding house community, they have all of their breakfast, their lunch, their dinner, all meals with their boarding community. So that could be with the 60 to 65 girls on a house or 60 to 65 boys on the houses. So we have 9 boarding houses at the senior school and 3 boarding houses down at our prep school. Our prep school is a smaller campus of around 80 acres, but our prep school actually used to be an all-through girls' school. 11 years ago, we merged with Casterton Girls' School and we moved our prep school there. So they actually benefit from senior school quality facilities. So they have their own stables, they've got their own food technology center, they have a design and robotics suite. So we make the most of the facilities that we have when we are able to provide courses to children from around the UK and around the world during those holidays. So firstly, actually going back, to our location. So we are located in the north of England. So we are north of Manchester, an hour and 15 from Manchester Airport. But we have children that, like I said, that attend some of our courses from around Britain and use the extensive rail network that is available to them. So we had pupils traveling up from London last year because there's a direct train from London Euston to Oxenholme, which is in the heart of the Lake District National Park, where we then provide transfers for those pupils when they arrive at Oxenholme and make sure they arrive safely at the school. So we remove that worry for any parents who are looking to send their children away, certainly for the first time. And also all parents will receive emergency contact details. Any parent would have my direct contact number should they ever also need to get in contact. But we provide a very reliable transfer service from airports, but also from train stations. We are also very accessible to parents and families who may want to actually come and visit Sedbergh just off the M6. And we encourage families that may want to drop their children off for a course to actually come and visit us as well. And we will show you around the area. We can take you on tours of the Lake District. And we can also obviously take you on tours of the school, so you can see where your children would be staying and the sort of facilities that they will have access to during their course. So moving on in terms of the courses, there's a range of different courses that we provide at Sedbergh. So first of all, we have our own international summer school. And this is mainly based around pupils that actually want to develop their English for children aged 8 to 16. But for those children with a more advanced level of English, we do provide a leadership international relations course for children aged 14 to 17. And this is a really, really exciting program, which we've been running now for 3 years, where they get to work in small groups, they're developing their leadership skills, their coaching skills. And there's normally about 30 children on that particular program, which runs this year from the 6th of July to the 20th of July. So in a few days' time. All of our staff are actually currently here at the moment going through a staff induction, and we will be welcoming over 150 children to the school on Saturday to begin a range of different courses in terms of multi-activities, outdoor adventure, and the leadership course itself. So that's one of our leadership groups that was actually on the programme last year. I'm now going to move on and show you a small clip, a video of our Sedbergh courses, which are a huge range of different sports, design school, stage school, and just give you a bit of an introduction to those sort of opportunities that are available. The majority of the pupils that attend this are from the UK and from many, many different nationalities still, but 98% of them will be from around the United Kingdom, as far south as Brighton to attend our courses, and as far north as Inverness. I'll just play this short video.
We will have a large number of people that come on Sedbergh courses with huge ambition to play performance sport or to act on Broadway. And we want to support them, and we want to challenge them, and we want to help mentor and guide them and give them experience which is fit for their ambition. We have to have a purpose, and our purpose is to impact young people through sport, to give them an experience that they never thought they could have. We're big believers around developing people as well as performers. We talk about having a growth mindset, originality, leadership, and determination. We're all talking about how we can bring this to life on a pitch, on a track, in the drama studio. But they enjoy spending some time with their friends as well. So equally, we work so hard in making sure that we get the balance right and create an individual experience for them that will have a lasting impression on them.
How can we be more effective as a coaching team? As a coach, I just love seeing kids being inspired to want to go and play. Doesn't matter if they're elite players, find a passion for something, regardless of their skill or ability, that they're going to follow on throughout their life.
It's hugely satisfying seeing how people develop and grow.
The most important thing is drive away from those courses knowing that those kids had a great time and knowing those kids are going to learn something.
You're a brilliant rugby player. You understand that?
Best team,
Really good.
Come on.
Come on.
That is what I love about these courses. It creates young people with a passion for the sport who hopefully are going to take it on throughout their life, and it's going to give them opportunities they wouldn't have.
Epic!
So that hopefully gives you a little bit of a flavour of the exciting courses that we provide at Sedbergh School. So there's a range of courses that we are on, that we have some availability this year, and we're constantly developing. So as you can see there on the screen, we have everything from design school, stage school, to actually sports such as rugby, athletics, football, which is growing in popularity at Sedbergh School and is a growing course that we provided 2 years ago. Hockey, cricket, a complete sports course for the younger children, and also an adventure weekend, which extends their stay. So the courses that we provide, they're all residential courses. There are day places available if families wanted to stay nearby and stay locally and send their children as day pupils. But they do start with 3 nights and 4 days, which for some that sounds quite short. However, for example, if a child wanted to come and do design school on the 22nd to the 25th of July, they can come and do that for 3 nights. And then they can extend it by adding on the adventure weekend from the 25th to the 29th of July, which then makes it a 7 to 8 day 7-night, 8-day experience for those particular children. There's also opportunities to extend it even further by going into the other courses that are provided on the other dates, such as rugby, football, the complete sports. So there's a huge range of different courses available. And because we own and operate it ourselves, we don't work with third-party providers. But we do work with some of the best coaches around the world. So, for example, our athletics coach, Dean Macy, he's a former Olympian, and he's been supporting the courses for many, many years. But then we have rugby coaches who are currently working for the Scottish Rugby Union. And we also have a lot of former international coaches as well. including the netball coach who's having huge achievements at the moment with Manchester Thunder. And these courses are very, very popular. Over the period of 3 weeks, from the 22nd of July all the way through to the 8th of August, we will welcome in excess of 1,300 children onto courses within the senior school campus and also the prep school campus. So they are very, very popular. We have children coming from primary schools, prep schools, other independent senior schools to access the best level of coaching. But most importantly, this is all taking place in a very safe location in the north of England, where children are looked after by housemasters and housemistresses, an entire pastoral team, including medical staff, qualified coaches, and they have a fun time, but also make friends for life. And I think that's something that we find year on year, and we're very proud of, is the number of pupils that return every single year, whether they're coming back to do the same course or actually want to try something slightly different the following year. So you can see from that list there that there's some age requirements or age ranges that are slightly different depending on what course is chosen. But it is a very, very fun program. The Sedbergh courses sort of pricing structure for 3 nights, you're about £589. And then if you want to extend it, then there's a course fee there as well. The complete sports course, which is for younger children, is slightly cheaper at £350. I'm going to play just one final video, which is something which went viral, and you would have seen in the first video I showed you a short clip of it. But this is the full video, and this is what our courses is about. This is a video which shows 2 boys who, one of them's upset, but is given a pep talk by another younger child. And this went viral and has now been viewed over 1.3 billion times around the world. It is now used in university degrees out in America to show that we can learn from children. And this is a very magical moment that was captured. So I'm just going to play that now for you.
Okay, it's okay.
Everyone's older than me. Everyone's
You don't have to tackle.
Oh, listen to it. No one listen to it. Trust me. Look at me. Look at me, Bob. I'm the shortest kid here. Listen, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're short, you're young. It doesn't matter if you're tall or hit. It doesn't matter if you're fat. It doesn't matter if you're tall. No, you are a brilliant rugby player. You understand that? You're insane. You're actually insane for your age. You're insane. All right, give me a hug.
Best teammate
It's all right,
ever.
all right?
Best
You're really
teammate.
good.
Come on.
Come on. No.
So it's all about friendship and it's all about support. And that's not just from the coaches, the medical staff, the pastoral team. It's also from the children that they are surrounded with whilst they're enjoying a sports course or a design school or a stage school. So that's the presentation from me. I'll open the floor to questions, but just to also let you know that all of Elaine's contacts and for attending this event, there is a special unique code for a 10% discount on all of our courses, which is there on the screen. Thank you very much, everybody, and back over to you, Elaine. I'll stop sharing my screen.
Thank you so much, David. I mean, that was really insightful. Some bits I wasn't even aware of. But one question that's come through is obviously we're a very different demographic, and so how does the school, with the courses that you have, how do they make children who are, maybe this is their first time boarding or they haven't been around different types of cultures, how do they make children feel welcome?
So one of the big things is when they arrive, all pupils arrive, there is an induction where the children are brought on house, they're introduced to the staff that will be looking after them. The parents, if they're dropping them off, are also greeted and reassured that they're in safe hands. But our coaches and our team of staff are very well experienced working with children from all different backgrounds, whether it's different demographics, whether it's different cultures, whether it's different nationalities. These are people who are used to delivering coach programs or sports programs with everything from very young children, as young as 4 years old, all the way up to adults. So they are some of them in particular outside of the sports coaching in terms of schools are also delivering high-level coaching within organizations as well. So these are very, very well experienced individuals. They work very closely with our own staff that are here all year round. So our school counsellor is actually here because we are aware that certainly children have, over the last few years in particular, have been faced with challenging times coming back out of COVID and anxiety issues. So they have access to our school counsellor who is there to spend time talking to the children. Like I said, our medical staff are on hand. One of our big things that they have is they don't have their mobile phones whilst they're actually taking part in these programs. And I think that's a very important part and something that we're very proud of, and we will maintain that, because sometimes the sort of homesickness can come about when when parents contact them or when they constantly ring home. So the children here, a bit like when they're with us all year round, they are kept so busy in terms of taking part in their activities, but the evening activities, the socials on the fields, the barbecue nights, we make sure that they're kept so busy. So when it comes to bedtime, there isn't an opportunity for them to just sit there and reflect or miss home. But actually what we find is that the children get on so well. And if there are ever any issues, because our boarding staff and our coaches are there 24/7, any issues are very quickly resolved. But we do also have to factor in catering requirements sometimes, dietary requirements, religious requirements in terms of what food they can and can't eat. And as long as we have all of that information in advance, which is part of the onboarding process when they're completing the registration forms, we can make sure that children feel as the transition from home to a course is as smooth as possible.
Brilliant, thank you so much. One question that a parent has asked is, can you tell us a bit about the stage course?
Yeah. So this is a fantastic program. So what they have done in the past is they work in small teams with 2 outstanding members of staff who will basically give them develop their skills in terms of speaking skills, but they will also set them the task of writing a film, the script. They'll be split up into groups. They'll be given the equipment and shown how to film, how to edit, how to act, working in small groups. And then basically the entire program ends with a production and basically like a cinema sort of production. The popcorn's out. And if parents are collecting their children, then the parents are also welcome on that Thursday to come and join and watch so they can see exactly what their children have been doing. Also, a copy of that is shared with all of those parents of the work that they've been involved in. So if you can't make it, don't worry. You would still be able to enjoy that at home when the boys and girls get back, so you can watch it as a family.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I think we've got both parents who were on the course last year. Yes. And I'm going to call on Delia. If you can speak, Delia, can you talk about how your son enjoyed it?
Hello and good evening, everyone. Hi, Elaine. Hi, David. How are you?
Nice to see you. No, well, nice to hear from you again. Yes, fantastic.
Yes, nice to hear from you again. I can totally understand parents feeling slightly nervous. That was me this time last year. I could see the benefit of my son going, and I knew that he would enjoy it, but I just needed to get over my own nerves as a parent, you know, sending him away and for such a duration of time. You know, maybe they've done overnight at friends and family or the odd overnight school trip, but that's about it. but I certainly felt at ease having done a call like this roughly a year ago, and decided to go for it. It was an absolutely fantastic opportunity. It was an experience for all of us, including me as a parent, because I was nervous, you know, sending him so far and then coming back home. And I found that I wanted to call and interrupt and find out what was going on, but I found once he got into the swing of things, it was difficult to even get hold of him. And that's simply, as David said, he was having such a fantastic time on the course during the day, with the events in the evening, making new friends. There really was nothing to worry about, and everything went smoothly. When we arrived, the way we were greeted by the staff, again, that made me feel at ease. That made my son feel at ease. I can't think of anything at all negative to say, and I hand on heart say that, you know, as a parent, there's nothing that I could say that I was unhappy with at all. It was a brilliant experience.
Thank you, Delia. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Delia. That's very kind, very nice. Thank you.
So there you go, David.
And just to say, David, we are coming again this year, and I apologise for being so last minute, but we will be there.
Fantastic. Well, I'm really. Are you coming yourself this time as well again?
Probably, yes.
Yes. Well, fantastic. I look forward to seeing you. I'll make sure I'm around.
Okay, brilliant. Take care.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Delia. We do have another parent on the call, but I'm going to ask this question that one parent has asked. She said, what's the evening provision that's provided on the summer course?
So what evening? So basically they'll have their evening meals. Then after, some of the houses will have a range of different activities that take place. But what we like, and that can be anything from just a quiet cinema evening, or taking them into the Hearst Centre for a bit of football, or using the swimming pool. Just so you know, if we are using the swimming pool, there's lifeguards on duty. We have that fully staffed. From a safety point of view, obviously. So it all depends on how the children are also feeling, because we do have to remember that they're doing an awful lot of sport generally for the ones that are specifically on the sports courses. So by the end of the day, they are quite exhausted. But most importantly, we make sure that they're well fed first before we start doing any sort of evening activities. But also on an evening, it is a time for them to reflect and just spend some time thinking about what they've learned, and also spend some time with their coaches who may be on house, giving them some feedback in terms of how things have gone. But then the children, just what we find, because they haven't really got their mobile phones on them, the children are just talking and having a good time, and in the common rooms on the boarding house, playing a bit of pool, playing table tennis. What children used to do. I think that's something which you see here, is that they're talking, which I think in today's world is quite a rare thing. It's unfortunately, there's a lot of children that are heavily reliant on devices, whereas when they come to a Sedbergh course, that's not the case, because they haven't got that opportunity. They're here to make friends and learn about different cultures, if there's people on their program from different cultures. But that's the sort of evening activities, can be things like cinema nights and just games in-house. We do have one evening on a Wednesday. I think it's going to be a Wednesday again this year, where there's loads of inflatables on the main pitch, which is in the background of my screen. So loads of bouncy castles, assault courses, inflatable like football, dartboards. And they just have a fantastic time in their new friendship groups. But also we then do food stations. So they actually have food from a variety of different countries, where we're doing food from around the world, and they just go around and have what they want. And again, it's a huge there's a fantastic atmosphere out there with 300-400, in some cases 500 children on the field, supported by all of the staff, like an amazing team of pastoral staff and sports staff and coaches. And it's just a really good environment. And you see even the different groups of children mixing. So those that might be on football will be mixing with some of those children that are on hockey or cricket or athletics or horse riding. So horse riding is another course that we do offer, but unfortunately that is already fully booked.
Thank you, thank you. I hope that answers your question. Now we have Stephanie on here. Stephanie, I know your son's not too well. Can you speak? So Stephanie came last year with video as well.
Hi, good evening all. Good evening, David. How are you?
Oh, hello, Stephanie. Lovely to hear from you again. I'm very well, thank you. Yourself?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. I'm good. Yes, I absolutely second everything Delia said. The boys had an amazing time and all the staff were brilliant. We were very nervous, the both of us. And it was nice because we got to experience it together. I would say the journey up there and back, leaving the boys, but we were definitely put at ease and the boys had a great time. Elliot, unfortunately, isn't able to go this year because he actually breaks up from school on the 23rd of July, which is quite late. Otherwise, he would definitely be going this year, but he will be there next year. And I would say any parent out there that's quite nervous and unsure, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to speak to anyone, but I 100% recommend sending your child. Definitely.
Wow.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Elliot is here and he's hiding. I was going to get him to explain or say how he found the course, but yeah, he's a bit shy. But yeah, he loved it. He absolutely loved it.
Brilliant.
Thank you, Stephanie. That's lovely. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, David.
Thank you. I think it's been, I think that, hold on a second, I'm just trying to sort something out. Yeah, I think that we have, we've shown parents that actually Sedbergh is far, but it's actually a really safe place to be. And I think that at times, the fear of the unknown, and obviously as our children get older, they don't want to see us anyway. They want to hang out with their friends. And I think one question is, how do you, somebody said, I'm assuming girls will be accommodated separately. Yeah, there's no co-educational dorms. It's the same as if you're in a boarding school. Nobody wants any problems here.
Yeah. So they are all on girls and boys are separate within the boarding houses. Yes.
Yeah.
They're not on separate floors, completely separate houses.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what's really important here is the level of, somebody just sent me a message and said about how do you deal with different foods, like children from different cultures? Is it just the British culture type food, or do you try different types of food from all over the world?
Yeah, so we do try food or produce food from different cultures from all around the world. We sit down with our catering team more so in the international summer school, where we have obviously a lot of children from around the world. But if parents have got any concerns around the food, we are very open to suggestions, and we will work directly with our chefs. We're very fortunate that it is our own internal catering team. And if your child has any allergies or specifically likes to have something which reminds him of home, we would do our utmost to try and make that possible. Obviously, as you can imagine, feeding 600 children, it can be quite challenging at times, but we will always do our utmost to make sure that children are happy and fed. But also, we don't stop children from bringing snacks or things that they may want to bring with them that they can have in their room. And depending on the age of the child as well, they may be able to use one of the junior or senior kitchens within the boarding house to prepare something else if they just want something a little bit different or something extra on an evening before bed. So we can be flexible around that. But all I say to parents, the more information we have about anything regarding allergies or medication or behavior or anything like that, the more information we can have in advance, the better experience it will be for your child, because we can make sure everything is in place.
Yeah, I think it's really important for parents to be as transparent as possible, because that helps with making sure that you have the right staff in place and the right measures in place. Is that not right? The other question that's come up is, how do you handle, and I know you've probably addressed this before with no phone, but how do you handle homesickness? Yeah. Oh.
Generally comes from the parent side in terms of worry and constantly trying to communicate with their child. However, as it was mentioned there before by Delia, in terms of the phones, and they don't have the time to be able to actually get in touch because they're just having so much fun. But if a child is homesick and just say they haven't got their own phone with them, we always make it possible for them to call home. If we've addressed the situation, we just think actually a 5-minute phone call with their mother or their father may be beneficial, then we'll make sure that happens. We're not going to completely ban them from talking to their parents. But we will monitor that situation, and the matron will be around to make sure that they're always supported. If we notice that there's a child, for example, might be sitting on their own, that might be because they are feeling a bit homesick, or they just might need a little bit of time to themselves. We also have to remember that children sometimes need a bit of a break and just want to go and sit in the library or sit in the common room and just reflect, have a little bit of time on their own, because this is a new experience. And for some of them, it can be maybe a little bit too much if there's 35 people waiting to have their dinner and things like that, and they just actually want to have 5-minute break. That's absolutely fine. We have to respect that children behave differently. But what we're very fortunate is our staff are used to dealing with pupils who might have traveled from overseas, but also the UK. Our UK children can be homesick. There's nothing stopping that at all. But they have a lot of experience and understand generally the sort of signs of homesickness, the signs of anxiety, the signs of just needing someone to talk to, and being able to tell the difference of just someone that's shy and someone who might be worried. And because they're here all year round, a lot of our matrons and the counsellor and so on, I've got no concerns around the level of support there.
Thank you so much for that, David. That really highlights a lot of things. And if you could just tell the parents as well. I know that with Delia and Stephanie last year, you were very instrumental in making sure that they felt very much at ease. If a child comes up to you, what does that journey look like? Is it from Euston? Is it from Paddington? Coming up to you, where are they picked up from? You can just tell us that.
Yeah. So if they're coming up from London or anywhere on that sort of line, they can get from London Euston direct train to Oxenholme train station, which takes about 2 hours 40 minutes, and they will come into the station, and then our buses will be there ready to collect the child from the school, from the train station, and bring them safely to the school. So we have our own fleet of minibuses. It's the same if children are flying in from overseas, we would pick them up from Manchester Airport. Our drivers all wear branded clothing. So at the train station, the children would know exactly who they're looking for, but they would also see a very big branded Sedbergh bus. But we have children that come from the south, from Birmingham, from London on the train, and we have children coming down from Edinburgh. What you will see on those arrival dates is quite a few other children waiting for the same bus, or getting on the same bus and being dropped off at the school, whether that was at the prep school or the senior school campus. So it's a very smooth process. But if a family's coming up, if you want to travel with your child up to Oxenholme, that's absolutely fine. We can look at arranging transport and you getting on that bus. If there isn't space and I'm around, I will personally collect you and make sure that you're brought over, and I can take you on a tour of the school. Because I think certainly if it's your first time to Sedbergh, it's always nice to have a bit of a tour around the actual school grounds itself. And we do also extend that invitation and experience to maybe a trip to Lake Windermere. If you really wanted to get that photograph on the pier in Lake Windermere, I have been known to take parents to Lake Windermere. I'm actually doing that this Saturday with one of our Japanese families. So, so yes, so we can from a transport point of view, there's no issues there at all.
Thank you so much. The other question I wanted to ask before we wrap up for the evening, if you've got any other questions, parents, please put it in the chat, was how do you make sure that everything is administered in an age appropriate way? So obviously you've got quite a big age range coming. Yeah. How do you separate the age groups?
So the age groups are separated within the boarding houses. So in terms of their rooms, you wouldn't find a 9-year-old, for example, sharing a room with a 14-year-old child. So in terms of the age ranges, same with sort of bedtime in terms of staggered bed times. It's very, very similar to how we do it all year round at our prep school and our senior school. So the only real activities where they're all together is that sort of inflatables night where the inflatables are there, and but what we do is we generally take the younger ones a little bit earlier, so they're down there first and then the older ones will arrive. But what you find though is, and this is what I really love about it, you see the older ones supporting the younger children. And this is what I like about Sedbergh all year round. On the boarding house, you will see an older child just offering that helping hand to a younger child. And it's great because they start having respect for each other and will seek support from their older peers. But in terms of the activities, the staff will be making decisions in terms of what are appropriate for that age group. We have been delivering the Sedbergh courses for over 20 years at school. So we've got a huge level of experience in terms of what does and doesn't work with particular age children.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But I'm just going to say thank you at this point. I think we've run out of questions, but thank you so much for giving us your time tonight, David. And for those of you who are interested, David did say that if you are going to sign up, because you've come on this, you will be given a discount code, which he sent me, and I will put it in the chat as well and in our community group. David, do you have any last words to say? And when would you say what's one of your favorite courses? And I know you're going to be quite biased with this because they're all good.
Well,
what's your favorite course?
The courses, to be honest, my real preference actually isn't a sports course. It's the new courses that we're starting to develop now, like the leadership programs. But in particular, for those children that are coming away for a 3-night residential, maybe extend it with the outdoor adventure weekend, I would say the stage school or the design school. Design school is just incredible. They're down at our prep school campus. They are in one of the most incredible robotics suites I've seen in a prep school. Actually, to be honest, even in a senior school. And they do, I'm not 100% sure what they're producing this year, but previously they've made skateboards, they've worked in small groups. It was just absolutely fantastic. So that's really good. But what I also have enjoyed, having walked around last year, was the stage school. And I've had a few friends who have sent their own children on the stage school. And to be honest, they were also children where it was a second language. So English is their second language. So you would think it would be slightly more difficult and challenging for them. But they just loved the fact that it was a small group. And then it was the skills. It wasn't just acting, it was the editing, it was the filming, it was the script writing. And you saw how happy those children were when they presented or got to watch what they'd actually produced with their friends that they'd made on the course. And I think that was a really, really special moment for the children. And also you saw it in the parents who were dropping off their children, and they were watching. You could see how proud they were. And they're the moments that I remember, not everything else that happens during the week, the food they eat and things like that. It's those precious moments where they're clearly really happy with what they've achieved in a very short period of time.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much, David. Really, really appreciate you coming on. Thank you, Delia. Thank you, Stephanie. For those of you who see, the discount code is Elaine5 ! Because I'm that kind of person. I need an exclamation mark. You get a 10% discount. But I just want to say thank you once again to David for giving up your time this evening and coming and giving a presentation to our parents. We really appreciate it. And we're going to have you back again talking about just Sedbergh School, not just the summer school, but Sedbergh School as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you as well, Elaine, and thank you, Delia and Stephanie, for your very kind words. I'm really looking forward to seeing you and hopefully many other parents who are on here in the very near future. But thank you, Elaine, as well, for the invitation and your constant support. We really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you again soon as well.
Definitely. Thank you, everybody.